Hi, I am Roxy. I am here to ask you to do something for Steve6464. Can you watch as much of the video that you can? Then before you leave a comment. Make it a critique, a constructive criticism. Thanks. Oh, he's about to start. Bye.
Foxtrot Delta Tango, Foxtrot Delta Tango, 1, 2, 3, can you hear me? Foxtrot Delta, there we go, right on the head, 11.1 negative decibels. So, hi, I am Steve6464, just a little bit late. I was playing around with reconfiguring scene 1. I was hoping to get to scene 1, scene 2, but of course things never go the way you plan. So hi, I'm Steve6464. This is season 13 of Let's Build This, part 32, working on a 15-year-old project. There she is there. Also, you can see her here, and a back view here. That is not easy. And currently it says there are 2 viewers. We'll see if that number changes, because I am also viewing via my phone on one of my sock accounts. Alright. So if somebody, hopefully somebody, when they pop in, will say hi, but we will deal with that when we deal with that. So, enough introduction. Let's review. Foxtrot Delta Tango, Foxtrot Delta Tango, Foxtrot Delta Tango. Oh, come on. No, not 9.9, not 10.7, 11.5. We'll try it there. I hope it's not too loud. If it's too loud to distort, please let me know. Alright, let's, before we get to work on the project, let's switch to scene 2. And let's see what sort of, alright, we have the same background. So let's take our main camera, unlock it, open up transform, there it is, edit, bring this over to this screen so I can see it better, and reset, and reduce, and move things, oops. Okay, that is me. Leave that there. Table back, that should be this one. Let's move that to the side here. Oh, it's locked. That's why. Okay, unlock it. There we go. See, I want to stack these three. All right. Right. Okay. Let me get something right on and right with. I'm going to go back to scene 1. Unlock all the cameras so I can click on them. Something to write on. Alright, so the main camera, this XY position is 588, 21. Its width is 2107.95. Its height is 1186.29. Crop, left, top, right, bottom. Left is 245, top is 0, right is 490, and bottom is 0. Alright, let's see if those will transfer, because sometimes they don't. That's what I was having a problem with and why I was late. Okay. Lower left. Okay. Let's position 588. Width 2107.95. And I'm sorry you guys can't see this, but I'm not going to go through the pains of moving cameras around. And height 1186.29. But you should get to see the results live. You just can't see the numbers or where I'm typing. Alright, crop left 245. Crop right 490. That don't quite look right. Alright, let's go back to scene 1. Okay, 2107.95, 1186.29, 245. Okay, let's go back to scene 2. And completely different. Same numbers. But different sizes. Why? Why? I mean, that's not... That's not square.
Hi, I am Roxy. I am here to ask you to do something for Steve 6 for 64. Can you watch as much of the video that you can? Then before you leave, leave a comment. Make it a critique, a constructive criticism. Thanks. Oh, he's about to start. Bye.
All right, I am back. Things crashed on me. Foxtrot Delta Tango. Yeah, okay, the volume's where it should be. Not going to do the review again because we've done that. Let's go to scene 2, see where everything has... Yeah, it didn't save anything. Everything crashed. Do I want to mess with it anymore right now, or just get going? Alright, we're at 2 views. We'll see if that increases. I think for right now, just going to leave everything as it is and deal with this after the stream. So I don't like this rear view camera one. Where is that? If I move it here, just for now, will that, does that increase or decrease the visibility? Well, let's get going. So before we start anything, let's filter our thinner. Here we go. So there was some stratification, but not a whole lot. So let's see what happens after we filter our thinner. Coffee filter. Now it doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot of filtering out the. We did end up with a nice layer of pigment in the bottom, but it didn't settle enough. The filter's not pulling it out, so I guess we'll use this as our first wash. Right. Get a second bottle going of our final wash. Spilt a little, I'll clean that up first. Yeah, what I was trying to avoid using more thinner but it is what it is. Maybe this other one will settle over a week or something and filter. Or maybe it'll just always be white. Okay. So today we are going to continue brush painting. Our model here. We're going to do this part. This is going to be silver. Parts of this are going to be silver. Yeah, we probably can cut out the window and put the plastic in. And maybe even if things dry enough, we can put the machine gun and Roy Brown in the pilot seat. Alright, so let's look at the box cover and see how that's painted. Pretty much just a straight line. Well, there's a little indent. Less glare there. So like I said, this is silver, this is silver. A little indent here. I guess the exhaust stuff is black, but we can get that later. Yeah, and then cut out the window. Do I have the plastic still? Should have the plastic. Here's our cross-eyed pilot. I'm sure it's not a true representation of Roy Brown. I don't think the person that shot down the Red Baron would be cross-eyed. Our machine guns, get that ready. Have our rubber motors ready when we get that far. And the line, if I should decide to put the lines of the rope on. And we do have some plastic. Let's go ahead and see. I thought it was bigger. Okay, but we do have some plastic for that window. Okay. Set the box aside. Bring this back into position. Silver. This looks to be silver. So this front, the collar, and up to here is silver, and these bumps and this small bump that bump will be black. And I want to use a wider brush. I think this one might be too wide. No, I'll use this one. But I think I'm going to use my mixing tray to pour it out into. And I should be able to get in there more easy with the brush. All right, give this a good shake. Get one of my boundary forks. Give it a good mix, because we want to get that sediment up the bottom. Right. So we have a thick layer of paint. I'm going to try doing this without masking the engine, so that should be interesting, a challenge. And so far it's just me and my sock account. Okay, I am looking for something else I wanted. Ah, yes. My thinner soaked towels. But let's pour this first. Then let's clean off the spill over the top of the jar. Get the threads and clean off the inside of the cap. Right, so when we screw this down, screw it back on, it won't, when it dries, there is no paint there to harden and make it difficult to open. At least that's the thought. Okay. Now it appears that there's some sort of lines, some sort of oh, I can't think of the word. Oh, like brushed aluminum to it, and it looks like it's going forward. Do the cockpit fuselage at the same time. Kind of guessing where that line is. It's easy on this side. And again, you're really not seeing too much of what I'm working on. Let's try that. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I can't. I'm in shadow. Now, if you are using something wet, glue or paint, and you don't want it dripping the edge, what you do is you actually just pull it to the edge. if you go like across the edge, then you're going to get drippings, and that type of drippings that make for good gravy. But if it does happen, you're going to say, good gravy. I should have paid attention. I should have done it the other way. I'm also trying to keep the brush kind of dryish, so we get those the brush strokes in to look like it's brushed aluminum or steel. We'll also have this gap here where the cowl and the fuselage didn't match up too well. So what I do for this gap is overload the brush and let the paint just flow in. And then with a little pressure, just brush it in that forward direction. Oop. Where, oh, where is the good spot for this? Okay. Although I'm going to have to do this backwards on the inside. Just cause. Yeah, I'm painting it silver and just gonna have to come back to it when it dries and paint it black. I don't know why. Force I have it. Maybe. I think once I am able to get all the secondary cameras onto the left side of the screen, that's going to make a better view. Backside, fill that. There we go, that spot in there. And it's looking like I have poured too much paint out. Where's the paint? I really wish I could get an angle on this where you can see what I'm doing. That becomes the easy part. Yeah, those little dimples are a result of gluing. I think the model glue, the plastic glue, kind of melted. Melted the plastic form here, and then you dip this, which makes it hard to paint. I probably shouldn't worry too much about the inside because I'm sure the machine guns will cover that. But never assume, right? I think despite some of the difficulties I have of getting into these spots, I think this is probably one of my better painting sessions. And I'm going to need some brown touch-up. Okay, I don't think there's any silver I've missed. But there are spots that I have put silver on that doesn't need silver. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the inside of that cockpit. Everything in here silver. So I don't feel like trying to hit that with camouflage colors. Although I would think his seat probably would have been leather. Let's just. So probably the brown color would have been better for the seat, but hey, it's my project. I'm not trying to do this to be historically accurate. I am doing this to, I want to finish a project and see if it will fly. But there are things I've done that are going to make it harder to fly, because there's stuff on here I shouldn't have put on here if I was planning to use a rubber band motor. So, yeah. Alright, I think that's the best we're going to get. Oh, well, maybe we can do this. Okay, got that on that side, so. Alright, let's see how much of this silver paint we can save. Right, and what did I do with my bottle of silver? Well, this should be a fun challenge. Well, I got some of it back. Back, Jack, do it again. Round and round you go, back, Jack, do it again. Okay. So, center one. Center two. Yeah, there's hardly any pigment. Okay. We'll wash that later in warm soapy water. Oh, hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Coming right along. Alright, yes. We got that, so let's do Roxy again.
Hi, I am Roxy. I am here to ask you to do something for Steve 6 for 64. Can you watch as much of the video that you can? Then before you leave a comment. Make it a critique, a constructive criticism. Thanks. Oh, he's about to start. Bye.
And hi, I am back. And let's hope it doesn't crash anymore. Let's go back to scene 2 and finish up. So I was getting ready to take some paint thinner and clean my mixing tray. Just want to check something first. All right. Good. Good, let's get back to work. All right. Clean this. Put the paint thinner, clean this up as well as I can. And we'll take some warm water, warm soapy water to that when I'm done and clean it up properly. All right, I need a drink. And I need my X-Acto blade. And I need the top of my plane. I need my top wing. This is what I'm going to cut out. And of course, everything moves back to the default. Move that there. That one's fine. Let's turn this camera like that. This camera like that. Alright, and let's see how careful we are with this. Because I don't want to go poking a hole. It's one thing if I poke a hole here, but I don't want to poke a hole here, 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 here. And I want to carefully cut down the center of the rib. Oh, we gotta go all the way up to here. See, I just did what I didn't want to do. Maybe I shouldn't try being so precise. Alright, that is one part. Let's do the bottom part. Alright, so Roy Brown can now see what is going on above him. And what it looks like on the box is that they painted the inside. And I am not going to use my olive drab. I'm not going to use my olive drab spray paint. Oh, this is dry already. That's pretty dry. I am going to use this. If there's anything in it. In the meantime, clean up. I did get some silver paint on my fingers. Some wet silver paint from when I touched the front, which I shouldn't have. Give this a quick shake. Get something to mix with. Well, we'll have to see what one of these two looks the most olive drab. I think they are the same color. I'm going to use this one because I believe it is newer. This is going to be a grass green, more of a Kelly green. And being newer, the paint should be, yeah, this is more of a Kelly green. The paint should just be better overall, right? Opens easier. Well, it only looks like there's me and my sock account today. Last week, I think I had a lurker. So, I'm lonely. Probably should do this again after painting. We'll use our paper towel soaked. Paper towel soaked. Thinner soaked. Hoping I had a flat head a little smaller than this, but we'll use this and see how it goes. That matches pretty good. Now it's a little more richer in color than the spray paint. Uh-oh. I didn't know it was runny. There we go. Oh, we got at it. There we go. And I am not going to use the spray paint glue. I am going to use this to touch up. Okay, and we need this. Right. first thinner. Second thinner. And I think I'm going to use this brush to use the touch on, if I can get the green out. Maybe I'll just end up using a brush that already has a blue stain. Yeah. Okay. That's what we'll do. We will use a brush that already has a blue stain. This one. Alright. Oh yeah, a lot of pigment settled to the bottom of this. Alright. So I got a whole bunch of green here, which of course you can't see. And then some green over here from touching up last week. Let's see how see how this does without getting blue paint all over the place. I have a feeling this is going to be lighter. I still see some green bleeding through. We'll see how that looks when it dries. Yeah, it might be a better match than I originally thought. If it dries darker, it should pretty well blend in. I don't think I have any paint up on that last dip. Well, touching up the blue wasn't on the schedule. It is now. Almost done with the blue touch-up. And again, this is something I could be at for eternity. Need to know when to stop. And now is a stop. Alright. One of our rigs. Oh wait, there was something I wanted to do with the blue. I wanted to paint down in there. Down in here. Not going to be able to get all of it because the angle that I'm at, but I got some of it. Okay, so this time we're done. Good enough. Alright. Paint thinner one. Paint thinner two. And then a warm soapy wash for that. And another drink. One I missed. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, this seems to be dry. It's still a little tacky. Dry enough. Okay, black. I don't want to do that. rub some paint in my pants. Okay, black. I do have black. I used it quite a bit, mixing it with other colors. This is black. Black enough, right? Hold on, left. Let's use this brush. And we just want to get these parts that are, you know, I think it's picking up the silver. So that's not dry enough yet to paint on. So we're gonna let that sit over the week. We'll paint that black next week. What time is it? 2:42. Okay, do I want to? No, I don't want to. I want to let that properly dry too before I cut the plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm done. This is where I'm going to cut it for the review. But before I log off, I'm going to prep my brushes. With a soapy water bath, they're going to get in a bit. let's hope these thinners, the sediment settled better than they did last week. Okay. I think that's it for right here. So let me scoot back over to the desk and center myself, switch the scenes. And look at the camera and say thank you for anyone who has, during this live section, live time, has made it this far into the video. Thank you. Anyone who watches this in the future, if you made it this far, thank you. Everybody please like, share, and all that other happy horse. And have a nice day. Be safe. Be a friend to someone who needs a friend. And the last thing I have to say is, oops, wrong button. This one. Last thing I have to say is,
an echo chamber of derp.
Derp, 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 derp.
Derp, 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 derp.
Derp, 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 derp. Derp, 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 derp. Derp, 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 derp,
Perspective. Gravity is not a force.
Einstein Newton.
Jerp. 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 Jerp.
Dub.